Hey guys, Happy New Year from Spillage Studios. Just Patrick joining you here today. First, want to say thank you to everyone that has watched our videos in 2025. Bunch of big videos planned for 2026. We got a bunch of Slashcast episodes. We got a bunch of podcasts, reviews, movies. Super exciting. There's a bunch of great movies coming out in 2026. Even not even horror related, but we're still gonna do some reviews. So comment below what you guys want to see. It can be horror, games, books, comic books. Movies, TV, whatever you guys want to see, comment below and we'll totally do a review on them. I just wanted to do a quick little kind of review and overall just thoughts on Stranger Things Season 5 because it just ended last night. Totally epic finale, by the way. I personally loved it, and we're going to kind of go over that. And why I'm making this video, it seems totally random because I never reviewed anything Stranger Things on this channel before. Honestly, just feeling the nostalgia of the show, and it just made me think, I really feel like, to close this out on this channel, we got to definitely talk about Stranger Things at some point, and this is the perfect time. Just kind of break down my thoughts, and overall, I want to hear what you guys think of the finale too. So kind of a little background. I am a big Stranger Things fan. This show came out when I was in high school, so I think, like 15. So 10 years, this show, or I think it's been 9 years technically, but this show has been going on for a while, and for like a lot of people this show holds a very special nostalgia factor, and I think they captured that so excellent in this season, and it's really nice to see the love and praise the show's getting. And spoilers ahead, we're just gonna be diving into kind of just overall thoughts. We're not really gonna break down episodes because there is a lot in this season and there's a lot to talk about, but this is, like I said, just a brief kind of overview and just kind of sharing my thoughts on the whole series. Not even just this season alone, but just kind of my overall thoughts on the whole show, and kind of where I think it holds up in today's standards, and kind of I feel like this is like a generational show. It's kind of once in a lifetime show we get, and for a younger generation too, the show holds a special place in their heart. So I think that's really cool to see, the appreciation for, the 80s nostalgia they bring back into the show. Just kind of, it's really cool to see that it kind of, still holds up in today's generation. So I thought that was pretty cool. Overall thoughts, not at all what I thought this ending was going to be like. I honestly was expecting, I'll give you kind of my brief analysis of what I thought the ending was going to be. I thought it was going to be Vecna kills everyone. Kind of, not really the villain wins, but kind of everything comes to a close. Vecna wins, and it resumes back to them when they were younger playing D&D. That's kind of my prediction of what I thought was going to end the show. Totally not at all. And I think this ending that they gave us was almost perfect. And I'll kind of go into those reasons in a little bit. I just want to give a shout out to Noah Schnapp. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I think he was the standout in this season. Joe Keery was another standout. I loved him and Dustin's like brotherly relationship in this season. I thought it was really captured pretty well. And Nancy was badass in this season too. She kind of reminded me of Linda Hamilton from Terminator 2, which I didn't even realize that was Linda Hamilton in this show. Totally unrecognizable. I was like, holy crap, that's Sarah Connor. It was really cool to go see. I really thought Noah kind of brought out the best elements of this season a little bit. His acting was definitely improved from previous seasons. I know some people think past seasons he did really good. I really liked him in this season. I thought he did excellent. They kind of sidelined some main characters, so they kind of sidelined Mike throughout the season besides this last episode. I thought the chemistry between Mike and Eleven was really captured really well in some of the final scenes, which we'll kind of get into in a little bit. Let's just go right ahead and talk about that ending. So the ending, Eleven saves the day. She closes out the portal to the other world, kind of sacrificing herself to save the others. And Mike and Hopper are two of the most like devastated by this because they were, everyone was close with Eleven, but they were, they just had a special connection with Eleven, obviously. Um, so that chapter closes, and they kill off Vecna, I think, like 40 minutes into the episode, and I was, like, looking at the clock, and I was like, we still got another hour and a half of this show left. I was like, what are they going to do for, the last hour and a half? There's got to be some kind of twist, or is Vecna coming back or something like that? Totally not at all what happens. We resume back to Hawkins. This is like a year later after everything goes down. It looks like they said it was an earthquake, so the government's trying to hide that it was an earthquake. Really cool. Kind of reminded me of Super 8, which I'm a big fan of. I think it's one of the most underrated sci-fi movies. This show reminded me so much of Super 8. I think that's why I love it so much. So we kind of go back to Hawkins. Everyone's kind of closing out the chapters. We kind of hear what each character is going through, what their arcs are. Overall, I think the last hour and a half, well, not really hour and a half, last like maybe hour of the show is definitely like closing out the entire chapter. And as I was going through this, I was like, okay, they're getting somewhere. And then we get into the big, in my opinion, I think is the most important scene of the show. It's the D&D campaign closing scene when they're all playing D&D together. They skip the party to go play D&D, and Mike tells a story of, he's using the analogy of the mage from the D&D campaign and kind of using an analogy for 11. And I personally think, my personal opinion, I do think 11 did die. I did think she sacrificed herself. I think what Mike is trying to do is, be that storyteller, be the storyteller that he always was since the season 1, being the master behind the campaign. And I think, I think the Duffer brothers really just left us up for interpretation of what we want the ending to be. There's plenty of theories that you can think that, 11 is actually dead, or 11, is alive somewhere, just living out in a land somewhere far, far away, like Mike intended. Some symbolism I saw in the final episode was there were only 2 waterfalls instead of 3, so it kind of makes me wonder. I don't think 11 is in that perfect place that Mike kind of wanted them both to go to. So it makes me wonder if, it's just all imagination, or if it's, 11's actually there. So yeah, that was just kind of my overall analysis of the ending. I do think, I don't know, I think it's really cool because it doesn't give us a definite, is 11 dead or is she still alive somewhere far away? I don't know. I think it's really cool. I just think it kind of completes Mike's character arc of just being a storyteller, and just overall the just mystery behind D&D, and it's executed like perfection. I think, just the walk off, they're all closing out their character campaigns and their character binders, putting it in the shelf, and you get the new generation of D&D players coming downstairs. Mike's giving them one last glance. Perfect ending. I don't think they could have gone another direction that was more perfect than that. I know some people, including myself, are like, maybe they do need to kill off some characters, and really it just comes down, you don't need to. You don't need to kill off characters to have a good story. You just need to tell a good story, and I think the Duffer Brothers, this is a 10-year saga that they completed, just filled with nostalgia, filled with just, the love of creation, the love of just, creativity in general. I just think the show brings out the creativity in people, and that's the most nostalgia I get from the show, just the creativity. I remember being younger, me and my friends were like this, just playing, D&D. We had the most fun just making up characters, making up all these cool story arcs, these cool campaigns. So it just brings back that nostalgia of just being creative in a wicked world. That's just kind of my overall thoughts on the show, and just kind of what I thought the ending kind of meant to me, what I think it means to a lot of Stranger Things fans. Now, I will say I haven't talked about Welcome to Derry on the show yet, but I kind of like that more than this, which is hard to say. It's like Welcome to Derry is like, a 9.8 out of 10, and like this show's like a 9. Like, I think the biggest issue was episodes 5 through 7. Kind of, I felt like held back the show a little bit. But when it was peak, it was peak. Episode 8 was a perfect finale. Welcome to Derry, perfect finale. And overall, we just got 2 great shows in 2025 that, I think it's going to be hard to top for a little bit. So those are some of my thoughts just on Stranger Things Season 5. And as it closes out, just curious to see what you guys think of this series. And I don't know if you guys call it in the end when Hopper proposes to why am I blanking? Will's mom at the end, Winona Ryder. They're hinting at maybe a spin-off series, so I'm curious to see kind of what the direction of that is and if they go forth with that. So might get a spin-off series. Just comment below what you guys think. Happy New Year to everyone. Comment below what you guys want to see from us in 2026. Any TV shows, games, movies, whatever. Hope you guys all have a happy New Year, and like I said, comment below what you guys think.